Welcome to the Rewriting Naruto series part 50. This is a series of videos where I rewrite Naruto, making changes to improve the story for my personal taste. Please leave a like to support the series, also subscribe if you haven't, and make sure you ring notifications so you always know when the videos come out, and also to help the channel out. Please do it, it takes 2 seconds and it's very helpful. Now let's get going. You knew it, didn't you? Suigetsu asked his brother after they got home, after an eerily silent walk. Mangetsu didn't say anything. Answer me! Every Mist Shinobi knows. We all had to go through it, without exception. Suigetsu felt dead inside. He closed his eyes, but he could still see Kai's lifeless face, her limp body, his own sword slaying her body. Only now Suigetsu realized he left it behind. He stood up and ran to the door, but Mangetsu appeared in front of him with amazing speed. Where do you think you're going? I left her body there. I can't leave her there. He's gonna hang her in those hooks like the others. Suigetsu could still see the other students that had died before their turn and how their bodies were treated. Her body will be returned to her family just like the others. But he's gonna hang her there like a piece of meat. I'm not letting him. Stop. Don't cause any commotion. The graduation exam is a state secret. If you do anything to compromise it, you'll be executed. I don't care. Let them kill me. So you're just going to die like that? Throwing away Kai's death? She died so you could live. Suigetsu punched his brother across the face, and he didn't seem to mind it. Bastard. But he was right. If Suigetsu died now, then her death would have been for nothing. Kai told Suigetsu to survive, so he turned around to go to his room. But before he locked himself away, he paused. You encouraged me to be her friend, so the person I'd have to kill would be weak, didn't you? That's why Mei didn't want me to see Kai. She knew Kai would have no chance against me. She was just trying to protect her sister. And you, it's your fault she's dead. You told me all those things. You said practicing with her was a good idea. And you kept on asking if she got stronger. I did what I had to do to protect you so that our clan would survive. That's what mom and dad would have wanted. She died. Kai died. You don't understand. Of course I do. I had to do the exact same thing. No, you didn't. Not like me. If you did what I had to do, you would have never put me through it. It's either that or you're a sadistic psychopath. Are you telling me I shouldn't have done anything? That I should have risked you dying? Yes! I'd rather die than kill Kai! I told her to kill me, and she went ahead with it! But I awakened that cursed hydrification jutsu and survived! And then I couldn't turn it off! There was no time I had to kill her, or we would both die! Suigetsu was crying hard. No, I'm such an idiot! I had the jutsu! I could have fought the Anbu! I could have killed him and escaped with Kai! The hydrification jutsu doesn't make you immortal. You'd have no chance against an Anbu member. But still, it's a great thing you've awakened it. Mangetsu smiled. What are you smiling for? I'm not gonna be a ninja. I don't care anymore. Then once again, you'd be wasting Kai's sacrifice, because if you don't do that, they'll kill you. Now you know firsthand that the Mist Village doesn't have many qualms about executing children, and you must be a ninja by the law. This is how our village works. We select the strongest, and the strongest clans are obliged to contribute to the strength of the village. How can you stand for this? How is this even possible? How they kill children like that? It makes us stronger than any other village in the world, Suigetsu. It is the price we have to pay, but that enables us to achieve greatness. So what? So what? That doesn't matter. How is this even something a person could come up with? We're just kids and we're killing each other in a basement beneath your academy. It makes us who we are. Hardened, terrifying shinobi to face. Shinobi that won't allow their emotions to cloud their judgment. The third Mizukage instituted this type of exam, and the military success of our village increased greatly. So you let children kill each other so the village will be stronger. That's just insane! Because our ninja got so much stronger, the Mist Village was one of the winners of the Third Great Ninja War. That was a mess of a war. A free-for-all between all 5 major nations, but we came out on top alongside the Leaf. The village has conducted this exam for years now, decades, and it works to protect our village and our people. You're insane. How can parents and siblings just quietly let this happen when they know their children are probably gonna die? How can you not interfere? Say something! Because if you do, you're executed. These are the rules. You bunch of cowards! They thought about changing the exams to a more traditional method over a decade ago. That was when Zabuza killed his entire class, and the Mist Village suffered a great loss, in their prospects. But the third Mizukage decided to change the exams in a different way. You were always supposed to kill your best friend, but the exam was held at an open area. That led Zabuza to going berserk and killing them all. So the third Mizukage changed the exam location to a more secluded place with only 2 children, and they are always watched by a powerful Anbu to ensure nothing will go wrong and only one of them will die. He also made sure to spread rumors about this type of test being done for, and ensure that all ninjas would keep this a secret or be put to the sword. The fourth Mizukage briefly thought about changing this exam method when he took office, but he quickly changed his mind and didn't go through with it, which was a good thing. After all, if he didn't, we would be a much weaker village. How can you say that? You cowards. All of you. Insane cowards. How can you not do something about it? Revolt against the Mizukage. That's treason. Of course it is. I wish Zabuza had finished the job. Mangetsu slapped Suigetsu across the face, exploding Suigetsu's cheek into water. Don't you dare speak against the Mist Village or the Mizukage. You dishonor those who gave their life so we could be in the position we're in, including Kai. The sacrifices they made gave us the strength to move forward, Suigetsu. I will not tolerate such behavior. Suigetsu had never seen his brother angry like that, but he understood it now. Mangetsu had always been completely brainwashed by the village's system. If he became Mizukage, he wouldn't change it. Rather, he would probably encourage it. There was no point in arguing with him. Any other viewpoint Suigetsu brought up wouldn't matter. Fear, or simply indoctrination, controlled every single ninja in the village. That's why no one revolted. And when someone tried like Zabuza, the system would purge them quickly. It made so much sense. The village that would order a massacre of an entire population of a small island would also be willing to put their own children to death, fighting for their survival against their best friend. Suigetsu remembered the baby, and then Kai. He almost puked again. Linking those 2 points almost made something snap in his mind. I can't believe this. I am not going to tolerate that type of talk, do you understand? I'll give you a chance because this is a hard day, but you must learn to be a real ninja. Deal with your hardship without shedding tears. Suigetsu's blood boiled, but he realized there was no winning here. He would have to just go along with it for now. Yes, I'm sorry. I understand that. It's just been a very difficult day. Mangetsu sighed. Of course he has. Go rest. Your ninja career starts tomorrow. Suigetsu finally went back to his room and he locked himself there. He cried in the fetal position for hours on end, and it felt like the more he cried, the bigger the void inside of him got. It was over. Everything was over. He had to somehow leave this cursed village, leave everything behind and disappear. But how? If he did that, the Anbu huntsman would track him down and kill him. So Suigetsu had to get stronger. Much stronger. That way, even if they caught him, Suigetsu could fight them off and still escape and be free. That was what Suigetsu had to do to escape his hellish reality. That was the only way Suigetsu saw himself living. Somehow Suigetsu managed to sleep for a few hours, and he woke up the next morning with a new general plan. He would pretend things were fine as best as he could. He needed everyone, including his brother, to think he was loyal to the Mist Village, and that he was training to get stronger in order to serve the village better. That way, when he had a good chance to escape and flee the village, no one would be expecting him to be a traitor. Maybe he could even find a way to fake his death, so that no one would even try to find him afterwards. But in order for that to work, he needed a mask. Not a physical one, but a mask to his emotions. And Suigetsu felt like humor would be the best option. Feeling better? Mangetsu asked. Yep, my bad. I was just being a little sissy yesterday. Mangetsu chuckled, and someone knocked on their door. It was Ringo Ameyuri. Have you heard the news? She said after Mangetsu let her in. I'm afraid I don't know what you're referring to. Zabuza is dead. He was killed in the Land of Waves while lending his services to a shady business dealer called Gato. Good riddance, Suigetsu said mockingly. Yeah, it's a good thing he won't cause us any more trouble. What about his body and the executioner's blade? Apparently Zabuza was buried near the location he died, and the sword was used for the tombstone. Should we go retrieve it? Mangetsu looked at Suigetsu. No, leave it there for now. He was a traitor, but he was still one of ours. Let us respect his resting place, at least for a while. Amir looked surprised, but accepted the orders. Do you know who killed him? According to most information channels, it was a Leaf team led by Kakashi, the copy ninja. Mangetsu scowled. That bastard? Who's this guy? Suigetsu asked. A powerful and famous leaf ninja. He used his weird eye to copy the enemy's jutsu. Once he wiped out an entire platoon of Mist Ambo ninjas by himself. No wonder Zabuza died to him. Is he really that strong? Amiri looked impressed and excited. You were too young to have fought in the last war, and yes, that man was a menace. Well, he was a kid back then, but he was still a menace. I never fought him myself, but only an extraordinary ninja could wipe out an entire Ambo platoon by himself. I kinda doubt he did it alone. Sounds like a lot of crap to me. One of those war stories, Suigetsu said. Maybe, but that's what our own intel division reported. There's no reason for them to lie to us. One day I'll fight him. Show the Mist is superior, Amiri said. Don't be too cocky. Zabuza was stronger than you. I'll get stronger, Amiri smirked. Is there anything else? Nope, Amiri said and left. She had a determined smile on her face as she did. The report says you have awakened the hydrification jutsu, Suigetsu, Yagura said as Suigetsu and Mangetsu were in his office. Yes, I did, sir. That is great. The Hozuki clan has been a pillar of strength in our village for a long time. However, the report also mentioned you were willing to let yourself be killed in the exam. Why is that? I don't know, honestly. I figured I was, what the test was about. Who was willing to sacrifice himself the most? Everything was very confusing. I didn't really understand it. But my brother explained it better, and I guess I passed anyway, so Suigetsu lied. He hated the tiny man's guts. He was the Mizukage. He could put an end to that massacring. He even thought about doing that, but apparently he got cold feet. And now he led that entire system. The system that killed Kai. Suigetsu wanted to jump and kill him right there. Strike his neck with his sword. Cut his head off. Even though Suigetsu said he wouldn't kill anybody else, he could still make an exception for him. He looked so weak. But no, that would be stupid. I see. I will leave you in the care of your brother. He also possesses the hydrification jutsu, so he'll be the best one to teach you. And because you proved yourself to be very capable during the academy classes when it comes to combat, you will form a two-man cell with Mangetsu as the captain. I may assign your two-man cell to a larger battalion if the mission calls for it from time to time. Yagura's eyes seemed that they weren't quite there. His gaze was unfocused as always. It seemed like he was thinking about something else, utterly bored by the present situation, which made Suigetsu even more furious. Ah, great. I'm stuck with this idiot now, Suigetsu said, hiding his anger. I'll teach him well, Lord Mizukage. You mentioned Suigetsu wanted to become a swordsman of the mist, didn't you? Your ranks are very diminished. It would be good to recover them, so I trust you will develop your brother into a formidable 7-ninja swordsman. Yes, my lord. It will be done. Here's your first mission. Yagura handed Mangetsu a scroll. It was a C-rank mission, to scout a foreign town near the Land of Water. It will be done, my lord. I think my plan will work well, Mangetsu said as they both cruised the forest heading to their mission location. What plan? Suigetsu asked. I don't care about honoring Zabuza's death wish. I just want to make sure you'll be the one to get the executioner's blade. I'll leave it outside of the village so that nobody else can get it officially as a 7-ninja swordsman. And when the time comes and you're ready, we can go there and retrieve it for you. I thought that was kinda weird. I was beginning to think you were showing compassion for someone like Zabuza, a traitor. No, of course not. I despise rogue ninjas. That sent a shiver down Suigetsu's spine. Would he have to battle against his own brother one day? Why is your headband like that? Mangetsu asked. Because Suigetsu's headband hung out of his waist. It wasn't even wrapped around it, but half of it was shoved in his pants. Suigetsu would never wear that foul thing. But his brother couldn't know the real reason, obviously. Everyone wears the headband the same. Loads of idiots. No creativity. So, I have to do something different, to show that I'm not weak. Besides, you look like a girl when you wear it on your forehead. He pointed at Mangetsu's headband, and he chuckled. That's alright. I think it suits your style. I know, it does. Suigetsu trained harder than ever before. He was moved by his anger and his desire to leave. His new routine consisted of going on missions with his brother and honing his jutsus and swordsmanship. He sparred with Mangetsu for hours every day when they didn't have missions. They could both unleash everything they had at each other, for whenever they hit each other, the hydrification jutsu would negate any damage. Suigetsu learned how to deactivate the jutsu. If only he knew how to do it during the exams. But also, he learned the hydrification jutsu spent barely any chakra. It still required a bit of chakra, so if Suigetsu got completely depleted, it wouldn't work anymore. And he also learned the weaknesses of the hydrification jutsu. If the water that his body turned into was itself destroyed, he could die or be hurt. Making the water evaporate, however, would not kill him. The vapor would just quickly coalesce back, like his body did when the water was still liquid. Lightning style was also a weakness. It could paralyze the body and prevent him from turning 100% into water. Suigetsu did his best not to kill during his missions. When he had to fight someone, he incapacitated them and hoped his brother wouldn't see it to finish them off. Mangetsu was brutal. He hardly ever left survivors during their missions, unless the mission itself called for it. Suigetsu soon learned that his brother was a true believer of the Mist Village regime. The image Suigetsu used to have of him as this easygoing, cool guy was shattered. Mangetsu was a bloodthirsty man, and when he thought back to it, that had always been obvious, especially when he witnessed everything that happened in the Shark Island. What Suigetsu himself did there, if he wasn't careful, he could have ended up like Mangetsu, a heartless creature for a heartless village. So he always spared his enemies in his missions. It was much easier to do that with the hydrification jutsu when he could actually get hit and suffer no damage. So he gets to learn that unlike other villages that combine their fresh genins into teams of 3 led by a jonin captain, the Mist Village combined their genins on a whim, essentially, depending on the Mizukage's wishes. Genins could be set into groups of 2, 3, 4, or 5, and some like Suigetsu were paired with a jonin as a duo with no other genins. It took only a few months for Suigetsu to get a promotion to the tuning rank. Other villages held tuning exams for their young genins to prove their worth, but the Mist Village was different. Their ninjas were supposed to prove their worth during their graduation exam. Many young ninjas died during the tuning exams in other villages, and the Mist Village couldn't afford that because half of their ninjas died from the get-go in the graduation exams. So the Mizukage simply promoted ninjas he considered qualified to advance through the ranks. So he gets to refuse to wear the Mist Village vest, even though he became a chunin. He wouldn't wear anything representing that place. Mangetsu didn't question him about it because he didn't wear it either. Besides, because they could liquefy their bodies to undo any damage, the protection that Flakjack provided was worthless to them. As they completed more and more missions, Suigetsu and Mangetsu gained notoriety as a duo in the Mist Village. Other ninjas started to call them the Hozuki brothers. Suigetsu kept on training harder and harder, trying to find a way to escape. He needed a mission that would go wrong, so he could fake his death and find a way to leave. But that wasn't easy. Suigetsu didn't want to deliberately sabotage the mission so his brother wouldn't suspect him. Sometimes he didn't give 100% of his power to see if the mission would fail, but Mangetsu was an excellent ninja. He had always an answer for everything. And of course, Suigetsu couldn't be too transparent with his deliberate mistakes. So even if the mission wasn't a complete success, it was almost impossible to find a perfect chance to escape. One where Mangetsu and the village wouldn't question and not even go after Suigetsu. So he waited and trained to get stronger until the perfect opportunity would present itself. Yeah, guess those guys are not gonna steal anymore, Suigetsu said, mocking the bandits he and Mangetsu had fought during their last mission. They walked on a road surrounded by a forest, making their way back to the Mist Village. The day was sunny and fogless, odd for this region in this time of year. No, they definitely won't, Mangetsu said casually. He was unfazed. He had just killed over a dozen people to fulfill their mission, even though he didn't have to. Suigetsu was disgusted by that. He couldn't take that anymore, but he had to pretend everything was fine. So, do you think we're gonna stay as a duo for a while? I think so. Lord Mizukage is very satisfied with our performance. Maybe he will even assign us to a larger battalion from time to time, but the Hozuki brothers might just become the most formidable name of the Mist Village. A dense white mist crashed down upon them, engulfing the two brothers. That mist was not natural, not just because of its speed, but also because of what it did to the brothers. Suigetsu and Mangetsu began to sizzle. Suigetsu felt a terrible burning sensation all around his skin, and the water from his hydrification jutsu began to evaporate. But no, that wasn't exactly evaporation. It didn't look like steam. It was something else, something that actually hurt him. He had gotten used to his body exploding, getting heated up, and burned, those things caused evaporation, and they didn't hurt whatsoever. The water vapor would simply coalesce back and reform his body. This was hurting him. Not only that, but the water was not coalescing back, meaning that the water was being destroyed. The weakness of the hydrification jutsu. Mangetsu acted fast. With a swirling motion, he summoned Shibuki, the blast sword, and with a continuous motion, he sent paper bombs in all directions around himself and Suigetsu. The paper bombs exploded in a fiery circle, directing the blast away from the two brothers, and it cleared up the mist with a cacophony of shockwaves. "What is this?" Suigetsu asked, but Mangetsu had no time to answer. As soon as the mist cleared, they saw a massive orb of magma plummeting from the sky straight towards them. The two brothers weaved hand signs at the same time. "Water style! Water wall!" Their combined power created a large stream of water that was sent up, clashing against the magma orb, which exploded with a cloud of steam and hardened rock debris. But as the lava distracted them, a massive wave of acid rushed down upon them, consuming the forest along its path, burning the vegetation. Mangetsu swung the blast sword and unleashed an enormous amount of paper bombs that clashed against the wave as the remnants of the magma orb still hovered above them. The paper bombs blasted the acid wave with a chain of explosions, countering that jutsu. "I never thought she'd be this bold and stupid," Mangetsu said. He recognized those jutsus, and so did Suigetsu. Mei Terumi landed nearby. Her gaze was cold and determined, and her eyes locked on Mangetsu. There was something different about her. She wasn't wearing her revealing clothes, and she seemed just focused. "You should know this by now, Mei. What happens in the academy stays in the academy. Taking revenge is punishable by death, regardless of who you are. I'll give you this one chance to stand down." Mei did nothing. She was resolute. Suigetsu understood her. She wanted to kill him and Mangetsu for what happened to Kai. Mangetsu for orchestrating everything, and Suigetsu for having killed her. It made sense. He felt an odd understanding towards Mei, but still, he had to survive. That was what Kai told him to do. Could he use this chance to escape? Forge his death? Stubborn as always, I see. We have to be extra careful, Suigetsu. She can actually kill us with her jutsu, Mangetsu said as Mei waited for his next move. How does that work? I feel my skin burning. She uses her vapor style to change the pH of the water, essentially transforming it into acid. That acid destroys the molecules of regular water, breaking them apart, destroying the water of our bodies. So the jutsu can actually kill us. Be careful. So that's why the water wasn't returning. It wasn't evaporating, it was being destroyed, Suigetsu thought. Stand back, Suigetsu. This fight is above your current level. I'll take care of the traitor. Mangetsu's voice was chilly, and those words were foreboding, especially coming from Mangetsu's mouth, a man that knew no mercy. He summoned Nuibari, the great needle longsword with a long wire attached to the handle that Mangetsu could control and use it to maneuver the sword through the air. It was another of the 7 ninja swords, and Mangetsu dual-wielded it alongside Shibuki. He dashed at Mei, who weaved signs and spat a thick stream of acid. Mangetsu dodged it and launched Nuibari, using the string to guide it. Mei raised a water wall, intercepting the thin sword, but Mangetsu swung the blast sword and unleashed a surge of paper bombs. Some of the paper bombs destroyed the water wall, allowing Nuibari to continue forwards towards Mei as the wire stretched alongside the remaining paper bombs. It was a dual attack, using both swords, advancing against Mei. She weaved signs and this time raised an earth wall out of the ground. The paper bombs exploded the wall, allowing Nuibari to keep on flying forward, but Mei spat a small water dragon, which bit the long sword and diverted its path. Mangetsu was relentless though. He jumped up, launching another wave of paper bombs from above. He's attacking with so much ferocity. Using Shibuki with that massive paper bomb wave spends a lot of chakra, but he wants to end the fight fast. Mei is too dangerous, but as long as he can use Shibuki, he can disperse the acid mist, Suigetsu thought. The paper bombs crashed down, exploding on the ground. Mei zigzagged, avoiding the blasts, and her dragon dragged the great needle. Mangetsu landed near her and slashed, cutting the water dragon with an explosion from the blast sword and severing it, releasing Nuibari. The guided blade darted towards Mei. She weaved signs and spat a massive acid wave. Mangetsu swung the blast sword, releasing an enormous amount of paper bombs that clashed against it, neutralizing the wave. But as the acid exploded, droplets landed on Mangetsu. He winced as his skin sizzled, but that wasn't vapor. It was his skin being destroyed. He didn't care though and kept on advancing, pulling Nuibari back by the wire and holding it again on his hand. Could this be my chance to escape? I don't know who's gonna win, but I could just go. If I manage to make it look like I got hit by something powerful and died, I could be free. Suigetsu thought, watching the fight from a good distance at this point. They had moved far away from him, and he decided to get closer. You should have just accepted it. We all went through it in the academy. Yes, your little brother and your little sister died, but that's the price we pay. How can you be a Mist Jonin and not understand that? Mangetsu swung the blast sword again. Paper bombs exploded, but Mei was quick enough to raise an earth wall to counter the explosion. That doesn't mean it's right. Killing children is an aberration. She spoke for the first time. Mei's words carried a deep sense of sadness to them, and also anger. But it makes us strong. It makes us who we are. Mangetsu swung once more, releasing more paper bombs. Mei raised another earth wall, which countered the explosions, but Nuibari emerged from the ground just below Mei. He must have used the wire to bury the blade underground when I couldn't see it because of the explosions. Damn it, he covered it well, Mei thought, but she managed to dodge out of the way at the last second as the blade rose to pierce her. It passed by her, glancing off on her skin and drawing a little bit of blood, but nothing too dangerous. However, Mangetsu commanded the wire to divert the blade's trajectory and wrap itself around Mei. The blade changed its path in an uncanny way, and Mei was fast enough to wrap the sections of her skin the wire touched with water, creating a barrier. Otherwise, the wire would slice through her. But Mangetsu's maneuver pinned Mei in place, and she could no longer touch her hands. You can't weave signs for barriers now. It's over, Mangetsu said, rushing at her and swinging the blast sword in melee range. But Mei weaved hand signs with only one hand and raised an earth wall just before Shibuki impacted her. The explosion destroyed the wall and sent Mei flying. A fragment of rock hit her in the stomach and another one hit her right eye. She got hurt, but she was still alive because of the wall. Mei landed several meters away from Mangetsu. The power of the blast itself had unentangled her from Nuibari. Now that's rare. One-handed hand signs. I have to give it to you, Mei. You're talented. This is such a waste. Then again, the weak-minded like you must be purged. The academy exams are not just to get rid of the physically weak, but also from those who lack the mental capacity to be a ninja. If you're not willing to kill your emotions, you're worthless in this world. You clearly can't do that. You can't get over your sister and your brother, so you have to try and kill me. You could have been such a great ninja. You say those things as if you haven't protected your brother, as if you were not concerned about his safety. Mei clutched her stomach wound. What concerns me is the Mist Village first and foremost. Making sure my brother survived was me serving the village, for he will be one of its greatest assets in the future. Asset? How can you call your own brother that? It's because unlike you, I am a ninja. Mei scoffed in anger and weaved one-handed signs with both hands separately as Mangetsu launched Nuibari, guiding it with the wire towards Mei. An earth wall rose from the ground once more, intercepting the Great Needle, but Mangetsu rushed with Shibuki, pulling back Nuibari. He ran around the earth wall, forcing Mei to erect more earth walls all around her, but they wouldn't stop his blast sword. Mangetsu slashed at the earth walls, but as soon as the stone cracked from the explosion, the wall itself exploded outwards with immense pressure, unleashing a shockwave of steam that hit Mangetsu and launched him away. The earth wall was hollow. She put water inside of it and coated the water wall with magma to superheat the water. The wall cracked and the steam power exploded on that single direction, on me, and that water was acidic as well. It really hurt me. That's why she was weaving more than one hand sign when she used the one-handed seals there. That's why she used both hands, Mangetsu thought, feeling the burning pain as chunks of water were destroyed from his body. Before Mangetsu could land, Mei weaved signs and stomped the ground, which transformed itself into lava all around them, a massive magma field. Mangetsu landed on the incandescent rock, and his body began to boil. Before he could swing the blast sword to disperse the lava, thick magma tendrils wrapped themselves around both of Mangetsu's swords, making it impossible for him to wield them. No way, Mangetsu's gonna lose. Suigetsu thought conflicted. He thought he didn't care about his brother anymore, but still, he didn't want his brother to die. Water style, water vortex! Water exploded out of Mangetsu and swirled around him, cooling the lava that was rushing him, but Mei jumped and appeared from above. She spat a gargantuan acid flurry. Water style, great water pillars! Mangetsu unleashed large columns of water that rose and clashed against the acid. Mei's jutsu overpowered the water, but that bought Mangetsu time to jump out of the way, leaping over the magma. When he landed on solid ground, he spun around and, aiming his index fingers at Mei, shot a volley of water bullets. Mei simply weaved hand signs and created a water shield in front of her that absorbed the impacts. They did nothing. Water style is not going to work against me, she said. Her bloody eyes looked ready to kill. Faking my death? I should just run away. What if she kills Mangetsu and then kills me? But why? Why can't I run away? I can't! Suigetsu realized as he watched the fight. He was frozen in place, and he didn't know what to do. Thinking about faking his death and running away was one thing, but actually doing it was different. There was something inside of him that still kept him attached to the Mist Village. That baffled Suigetsu. What could it be? That village was hell. Why was he so hesitant to leave? He could just run away right now, and regardless of the result of the fight, he could probably get away with it. A smile came to the forefront of his thoughts. He tried to suppress that thought. The thought about Kai, but it was inevitable. The Mist Village was where he met Kai. That place connected them in a way Suigetsu couldn't explain. There was still something left. Summoning Jutsu! Mangetsu summoned Hiramekare, another of the 7 ninja swords. He empowered the sword of his chakra, creating a chakra blade several times larger than himself, and rushed Mei with it. She weaved signs and once again formed the thick fog around them. Both Mangetsu and even Suigetsu, who was further away, felt their skin burning as the water they were made out of was being destroyed. She neutralized Shibuya and Uibari, and now Mangetsu doesn't have a sword that can disperse the mist. What am I doing here? This mist could actually kill me. I have to leave. No, but I can't leave. Damn it! If I don't go back to the Mist Village, then Kai's memory will be gone. Suigetsu thought as his brother swung the great chakra sword at Mei. She unleashed a magma wave against it. The blade hit the magma. Some of it was shot backwards, but a lot of it was still connected to the sword. Mei shot a jet of water towards it, solidifying the rock around the sword, which made the blade fall to the ground, with Mangetsu still holding it. He roared in anger, the skin of his face turning blue as more and more of the water got destroyed. He extended the chakra blade even more, cracking and destroying the rock wrapping the sword, which let him move it again. The sword glowed orange from the heat of the lava. As Mangetsu was about to re-engage, Mei increased the acidity of the mist around them and burned Mangetsu even more. The acid was so potent, it began to dissolve the chakra Hiramekare emitted, but Mangetsu soldiered on. He slashed at Mei and cut her in half, killing her with his incandescent sword. But the two halves of Mei turned into water. It was a clone. Damn it, she probably used that after the steam shockwave hit me, Mangetsu thought as the ground beneath him turned into lava. His feet boiled with shocking intensity as the water from the rest of his body was still being destroyed, and the mist completely melted Hiramekare's chakra as Mei emerged from the lava and stood on it. The incandescent magma dripped all around her, leaving her completely unscathed. It was as if she had just been swimming in a regular pool, except she had been submerged in molten rock. When Mei locked her bloody eyes, surrounded by dripping glowing magma, Mangetsu felt fear. He grunted and used water sail to solidify the rock beneath him and used that to jump towards Mei. Fear was for the weak. Forget about the fear. She's the enemy. Die, you traitor! He swung the sword wildly. Suigetsu had never seen his brother losing his composure like that. It's over, Mei said, weaving a one-handed seal. The lava Mangetsu was cruising over rose, forming a tendril that took the shape of an incandescent blade. And as Mangetsu extended his arms to swing the sword, the tendril cut them, exploding the area where it slashed with a powerful steam gust. With his arms severed, Hiramekare flew, no longer held by Mangetsu's hands, and Mei jumped, grabbing the sword midair and slashed, hitting Mangetsu with the flat of the blade, which made him fly away. Mei weaved a sign and touched the glowing sword, casting a counter sealing jutsu, which would unbind the sword from Mangetsu's scroll, not letting him summon or unsummon it anymore. Should I help him? I could try, but then I can't escape. But if I don't, my brother will die. But if it was because of him that Kai died, Mei is right. The Mist Village is rotten. But I can't. I have to escape, but I want to go back. Suigetsu thought, crying in utter confusion as the mist consumed his skin. You took my blades. Now what? You just killing me in cold blood for revenge? Is that going to satisfy you? Mangetsu said, standing up. Mei weaved a sign, magma style, lava well. A circular section of the ground beneath Suigetsu turned into lava and he began to sink, his fit boiling. Damn it. She launched me here on purpose. She had prepared this section to turn into lava when she was underground. Mangetsu bellowed and motioned to shoot a water bullet at Mei, but Mei was faster. Before he could release the bullet, she spat a quick orb of acid that hit the arm he was about to shoot her from and destroyed it. Mangetsu screamed in burning agony. That was not a regular strike. The acid actually destroyed his arm. He wasn't able to dodge because the lava encircled him and imprisoned him from beneath. If you think this is about revenge, then you understood nothing, Mangetsu, Mei said, and spat a thick jet of acid, hitting Mangetsu on the chest. The jet crossed his torso, exiting out of his back. A gaping hole almost the size of his chest framed Mei, who stood resolute. Mangetsu tried to utter a word, but he collapsed. His limp, water-like body fell on the magma, lifeless. Suigetsu watched everything in shock. He didn't know what emotion he felt exactly. His brother had just died in front of him. He was not happy about it, but he wasn't sad either. A sense of emptiness overtook him, and then came a realization. It's my turn now, isn't it? She's gonna kill me too. I should have just run away when she was distracted, shouldn't I? I could have gone back to the village and warned them, but I wanted to escape. But I couldn't escape. I had to go back. And even if I warned them about Mei's betrayal, what good would I have done? Suigetsu thought. Mei dropped Hiramekare and approached him. She was quite hurt. Her dress depicted several bloodstains and scorch marks. Her right eye was red with blood, but her face was neutral. She didn't look happy after killing Mangetsu, which surprised Suigetsu. He thought she'd be rejoicing. Can you do it quickly? Suigetsu asked, resigning himself. Resisting her would be futile. She was orders of magnitude more powerful. I'm not going to kill you, Suigetsu. What? But why? I don't get it. Wouldn't you take your revenge? I already said I am not here for revenge. But then why did you kill my brother? Wasn't it to avenge Kai? Wasn't that the whole point? No, revenge wouldn't bring her back. I killed him because I had to. Killing you would serve nothing. You're as much of a victim as Kai was. What do you mean? The Mist Village is a desecrated place. Ever since the third Mizukage implemented the bloody examinations, our children have been slaughtering each other, and they're all victims. The ones who die are obviously so, but the ones who survive will carry that trauma forever. Well, I agree. I don't know how that's supposed to make you stronger. I just can't understand that logic. A shinobi is nothing but a tool for them, and tools do not require emotions. Actually, having emotions will be detrimental, but people can never completely erase their emotions no matter how hard they try. The academy exams must stop. The killing must stop. That is why I had to kill your brother. I don't understand. Why does it have to do with it? The only way to stop our children from massacring each other is to destroy the current system of the Mist Village. And for that, the fourth Mizukage, as well as other powerful ninjas that hold the same beliefs, must die. Your brother was a prime candidate to become fifth Mizukage if the fourth Mizukage died. And if that happened, nothing would change. It would simply keep the current regime operating as is. Wait, the fourth Mizukage is dead? dead? Mei sighed. I'll tell you everything. I suppose I owe you this much at least. No, he's not dead yet. I will have him assassinated, and then I will become the 5th Mizukage to destroy the Bloody Mist regime. That's why killing possible successors is important. The powerful ninjas who are aligned with the regime must die. But that's insane. How can you overthrow the whole village by yourself? The whole system? I mean, sure, in a 1 versus 1, yeah, you killed my brother, but the whole village is gonna be too much. I know you're strong, but you're overestimating yourself. Maybe I can help you. I want to fix things too. I hated what they had to do to Kai. I told her to kill me and she went along with it, but my hydrification jutsu awakened and I couldn't turn it off, so I had to kill her. Suigetsu started to cry again, remembering the worst moment of his life. Mei gave him a sad smile. Thank you for your offer, but I am not alone. I'm certain you've heard the stories about me trying to find a suitable man over the last few years, traveling around the land of water, spending all my clan's funds to do it. I have. Well, you're also dressing differently. That was a facade. I don't wear that for true battles. I've been dressing like a courtesan, and I have been spreading rumors about myself to hide my true actions and intentions. If they think of me as a loose, incompetent woman, they will not investigate me any further. Their regime will be happy with me being a ninja that's promiscuous. But all this time, I've been building up a resistance group from the shadows, buying off powerful nobles from the land of water, garnering support from mist ninjas that also disagree with the system. That's why I could never spend time with Kai. I wish I had had more time with her. I wish I could have launched the coup before she took the exams, so she wouldn't have to die. But it just wasn't ready yet. We have one chance to make it work. We cannot waste it. And Zabuza almost ruined it already. Zabuza? You mean he was working with you? He was very dissatisfied with the system. He agreed to work with us, but he got too impatient and attempted to assassinate Yagura by himself without any preparations. If Yagura had died then, another would have taken his place. Someone like your brother. I had to delay my plans for a long time to clear off any suspicion and make the village elders and Yagura think Zabuza was just an unhinged psychopath with no other motive other than killing for the sake of it. Maybe if that hadn't happened, I could have launched the coup before your graduation exam. So it's close now. The coup. Yes, I must get rid of any possible successors to Yagura, and I've been doing a good job with that. After that, it will be Yagura himself, and once that is done, my hidden coalition will strike and instate me as Mizukage. Hopefully with all other candidates dead, the village elders and the feudal lord will just choose me without coercion. But if it comes to it, we will launch a violent coup. And what happens to me? Mei sighed. I've done some terrible things in the process of building this rebellion. The means justify the ends, I've always thought to myself. But thinking that doesn't make me sleep any better at night. Still, the Bloody Mist Village must fall, so I must continue. Continue? I am not going to kill you, but I will use you to destroy the system, Suigetsu. What? How? I'm sorry. I wish there was another way. Thank you for everything you did to Kai. If this world was a fair place, I would be your sister-in-law now. Mei snatched Suigetsu's headband from his waist. I will keep this, so I will never forget the cost we had to pay, and so I can honor your sacrifice. Sacrifice? What are you going to do with me? Mei weaved hand signs, and a small earth dome rose from the ground, encasing Suigetsu in it. He slashed at the inner earth walls, and he used water-style attacks against them, but Mei simply regenerated them. The only light he could see was from tiny holes on the rock that allowed air to pass, so Suigetsu could breathe. So she's just using me, just like the village uses everybody else. At the end, it's all the same. But if at least she can change the system using me, then Kai's sacrifice wouldn't have been in vain. Suigetsu thought, and he felt the dome lifting off the ground. It began to move. Where are you taking me? Please, can you tell me that, Mei? Suigetsu shouted, but he heard no reply. He didn't know how, but he just knew Mei wasn't taking him back to the Mist Village, to that cursed place who took Kai away from him, but also the place they met and lived, the place that connected them, the place that held her memories. Not even that remained for Suigetsu. Now, there was nothing left. Watch part 60 right here. Please like the video, subscribe, and ring notifications. Make sure you do all those things. It really helps me out. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the episode, and thank you so much for watching.